The woman's first act after rebirth was to kiss the butler's son. The man froze, stunned by her sudden move. Just as she was about to untie him, he avoided her touch, thinking it was another cruel game. But when her mother raised her hand to strike, the man broke free and stood firmly in front of her. In her past life, she was betrayed by her own mother and fiancé. They threw her from the 25th floor, just as the man came looking for her. Her soul watched as the man, who should have hated her, held her and wept. He even avenged her with his own hands and placed a diamond ring on her finger. It was then she realized his love, and her regret consumed her. She prayed for another chance, and the heavens answered. She opened her eyes, back to the day he was crippled and cast out. Hearing the whip crack, she rushed downstairs to shield him. In front of everyone, she confessed her feelings. On her 20th birthday, the man had already seen through her fiancé. He stopped the proposal and stole a secret kiss, witnessed by her parents. To them, he was only a butler's adopted son, unworthy of her. They decided to cripple him and throw him out. Hearing her confession, the man stared at her in disbelief. At that moment, the fiancé walked in. Haunted by her past, fear surged inside her. But when he insulted the man and threatened to ruin him, she slapped him hard. Her parents arrived, sneering at the man as a toad dreaming of swan meat. Looking at her mother's twisted face, the woman finally saw her true ugliness. When her father ordered once more to cripple the man, she stood firm. To prove her love, she kissed the man before everyone's eyes. But he thought it was another cruel joke. In college, she had confessed to him before, only to mock him with a truth or dare excuse. Now, as her mother raised her hand to strike, the man broke free and shielded her. The furious mother ordered to break his legs. But before the whip fell, the richest man's assistant arrived. He revealed the man was the lost son of the tycoon, showing the jade pendant. In front of everyone, the man lifted the woman in his arms and walked away. Left behind, the mother and the fiancé seethed with jealousy. Seeing his noble bloodline, they began plotting how to steal his identity. To them, he was only a butler's son, never worthy of her. Now when the man brought her to his shabby rental, humiliation followed. Her parents and the fiancé barged in, ready to trample him again. But fate had its own timing. The richest man arrived at that very moment. He recognized the man as his long-lost son through a jade pendant. Greed twisted her mother's face as she plotted to swap the identity. Together with the fiancé, she declared the jade belonged to the other man. Certain the obedient girl would side with them, the mother smirked in victory. But rebirth had sharpened her eyes. She saw through their lies. When even the man's foster father stood with the enemy, her chest burned with rage. Yet before she could speak, the man's doubt cut like a knife. She rushed forward, begging him to trust her one last time. Leaning close, she whispered her plan in his ear. His gaze softened, unable to resist her playful resolve. When the paternity results came, the fiancé gloated, demanding she leave. She ignored him coldly, clinging closer to the man. Her mother stormed forward to drag her away, only to be stopped. The man's voice thundered. No one could force her to leave. Her mother sneered, spitting that he'd always be a servant's son. Then came the results. No blood relation between the tycoon and the man. The mother and fiancé celebrated early, drunk on false victory. The fiancé even rushed forward to claim his new father, but the woman's cold voice cut through the room. His report remained unopened. Her mother snapped at her, but the woman struck back without fear. She accused her mother of being shameless, even doubting their blood tie. Furious, her mother raised a hand, only to freeze as the man shielded her. Then came the twist. The fiancé wasn't the tycoon's son either. Shock silenced their arrogance as their scheme lay bare. The woman mocked their stupidity, shredding their last defense. The assistant produced a hidden second report, the real one. It confirmed the truth. The man was the tycoon's blood son. The tycoon trembled with joy, unable to hide his relief. The mother and fiancé tried to flee but were stopped cold. For the girl's sake, the tycoon let them off this time. He invited his son home, eager to make up for lost years. But the man had conditions. He would not return so easily. The girl's heart stirred, wondering what price he demanded. Meanwhile, the mother and fiancé seethed in hatred. They plotted revenge, summoning thugs to strike. On the street, the man was outnumbered, fists raining down. The woman sprinted for help, eyes blazing with desperation. She toppled a vase at a storefront, drawing attention. Then she darted back, picking up a brick from the ground. Just as the thug swung to break his leg, she struck with fury. The gang turned on them, ready to crush them both. But the shopkeepers rushed out, forcing the thugs to scatter. In this life, she had rewritten his fate. The man would never again be crippled by their cruelty. The woman never expected her own mother would send her to a mental hospital for the scumbag. One day earlier, her mother lured her home with a fake call about her father's illness. Pretending kindness, the mother pushed her toward a forced marriage with the scumbag. Just like in her past life, she was shoved into a bedroom, offered up like prey. The scumbag threatened her with her father's safety, convinced possession meant victory. But the reborn woman already saw through the scheme. She pretended to yield, then clawed his face and tore her clothes, crying out pitifully. The scumbag froze, caught off guard by her trick. At that moment, the man burst in, fists flying, knocking the scumbag down. Her parents rushed in, only to see their daughter weeping in her father's arms. The father's rage erupted, and his slap landed hard on the mother's face. Still unsatisfied, the girl ran toward the door, crying she'd rather die. The man caught her, holding her tightly as the police arrived. She pointed at the scumbag, producing the evidence she had prepared. The scumbag panicked, dragged away in handcuffs as she smiled triumphantly. But her mother's glare burned with venomous hatred. Her father, however, had seen through her ploy. He revealed the man's refusal to return home was to avoid another arranged marriage. The girl's heart clenched with new understanding. She warned her father of traitors hiding in his company. Meanwhile, her mother spread lies that she was insane, buying the scumbag's release. The scumbag's first move after freedom was to kidnap her, but she was no longer the prey. She cut her ropes with a hidden blade. With one strike, she stabbed his shoulder, then knocked him unconscious. When her father rushed in, she revived the scumbag with another blow. She demanded the truth about the traitor inside her father's company. He denied everything, so she grabbed his phone and made a video call. On the screen, her mother flirted with the scumbag's father, unaware of the trap. The girl sweetly called her mother, then switched the camera to the beaten scumbag. Her mother panicked, begging her to let him go. The girl smiled coldly, demanding the traitor's name. She warned if she killed the scumbag, no one would know. Under fear, the mother finally revealed the traitor. The girl pressed further, asking if the scumbag was truly her mother's child. Then the black force her mother hired stormed in. Her mother sneered in triumph, certain the end had come. Her father shielded her, revealing the final truth. This woman was never her real mother. As he fell under the blows, despair filled her chest. She clutched the scumbag, threatening the thugs with his life. Just as death loomed, the man arrived with reinforcements. The girl who was just threatening the scumbag with a knife turned into a helpless bunny the moment her boyfriend appeared. She leaned pitifully into the man's arms, acting fragile and sweet. The scumbag, tied up on the ground, shouted in disbelief that he was the real victim, but his words only earned him a brutal beating from the man. The man held the girl gently, his eyes full of heartache. His subordinates whispered nearby, doubting she looked anything like a victim. Her father stepped in, cutting off her act with a heavy truth. He revealed her current mother was once her birth mother's best friend. Her real mother had died in childbirth after a fall down the stairs. To give her a complete family, he had lived with the stepmother in name only. The girl recalled her past life, her stepmother's whispers with the scumbag, and suspicion burned. Meanwhile, the stepmother and scumbag's father celebrated too soon, convinced their hired thugs had control. But the girl and her allies returned home alive, shattering their illusion. Seeing the scumbag thrown on the floor, bloody and broken, their faces drained of color, the girl seized the chance, using the scumbag as leverage to force the truth from her stepmother. The scumbag's father laughed arrogantly, boasting of his underworld protector. At that moment, the so-called protector walked in, smug smiles spreading on their faces. But the man gave him a single look, and the thug instantly crumbled, fleeing with his men. The girl asked curiously why he backed off, but the man brushed it off with an excuse. Not pressing further, the girl drove her knife into the scumbag, demanding the truth. Fearing for her safety, the man had his subordinates take over. The stepmother broke down completely, spilling the long-hidden secret. The girl's grandfather was tied to the same powerful clan the man was supposed to marry into. His adopted son had plotted to seize the inheritance, colluding with the stepmother. They murdered her birth mother and raised the scumbag, the stepmother's true son, as their pawn. For 20 years they schemed, only to be exposed by the girl. The girl remained calm, instructing her father to guard the company. She herself would confront her grandfather's treacherous adopted son. At that very moment, the adopted son pushed his own daughter to ensnare the man in marriage.